Hi, my name is Geeta Murthy. Welcome to the Building Tomorrow Together podcast. I wanted to take this project on because as we come up on our 15th year at the SAAAC Autism Centre, I'm grateful to all the incredible people I have met. In my 15 years of running SAAAC, I have been so lucky to work and collaborate some amazing people who have helped grow SAAAC, who have enriched my life personally, and who continuously make our world a better place. Hi, I'm Geeta Murthy. Welcome to Building Tomorrow Together podcast. Today, we are joined by Lakshmi Solomons, who is our Director of Impact at SAAAC. Let's find out about her journey. And hi, Lakshmi, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, tell us about do you remember when we met the first time?
I do actually. So it was actually through an introduction through one of my friends. It was 2010, and she advised me, she was telling me that you were going to do an outreach program for Sri Lankan families who have children on the autism spectrum. I was very curious because we never had any kind of an outreach program or anything like that we have attended. So out of curiosity, I came to Mukibam. That's when I met you. It's so vivid in my mind right now.
Okay, so let's go backwards more. When did you come to Canada, and why did you come? And is there a reason your family moved to Canada?
So we migrated in 1993. So it was actually a very difficult decision to come here because we were, myself and my husband Ronnie, we were working in the banks. We had good positions, but Ronnie's family, everybody migrated to Canada, and we were the only one left back home. And also the civil unrest created the atmosphere for us to move away from our motherland. So that's why we decided to come to Canada.
Okay. So even if I go back to your childhood memory, what's your favorite childhood memory?
Oh, it's always been my mom and dad. They have been very supportive, even though we did not have much. My dad always made sure that we had food on the table. I mean, that's something that I think I applaud when I think about back then. And I was always a very happy child. So, because I was given everything I asked for.
Yeah, you're always a happy person too, even now at work. You are the one who is bringing that light to everybody, or very much enthusiasm and all those things. So I can see being a child itself, you have been a very happy child. So tell us something about why you joined SAAAC after 2 decades of, you were in the finance industry and you joined SAAAC. And what was the reason?
So what really happened was, so I was working, even though I was working in these financial sectors, in 1994, when we had our first baby, who was Kevin, and it was such a joyful occasion for us. We were celebrating because he's our first, but he was quite a big baby, so it was a cesarean, and it was very hard for us because we were new to the country. We did not have much. We were just living in an apartment. We had just temporary jobs. So it was quite difficult. And when I had the baby, I was by myself. I didn't have much help. Ronnie's job didn't give vacations for fathers to be at home. So I was all alone. So that was the difficult part when Kevin was a baby. But we managed. My mother-in-law used to come and help whenever she can. But otherwise, we were just by ourselves. Then came Kevin's developmental milestones, and I saw that he wasn't talking. And that concerned me. So I went to the doctor and I said, why is Kevin not talking? And, as usual, at that time, I don't know what made these doctors think that boys don't talk until they are later in life. And I'm like, no, that should not be like a stereotype. So I said, no, but I need some tests done. So he first sent us to an audiology for his hearing test. We did that. And then that's when he said, okay, I'm going to send him to a developmental pediatrician. So, yeah, so that was a wait. It was like a 6 months wait. We got to them and they did the assessment. Um, I was not sure what they were looking for because I had never come across anything like this before. And then the doctor told me that I believe he's developmentally delayed and it's called autism. I'm like, okay, I have never heard of this word. What is it? Like, never
And
in my.
how many years ago this was?
So he was 3 when he got diagnosed. So it was so new to me. We were new to the country. We don't know what this is. It was all new to us. It was very hard at that time. And then we tried to find out more about this autism. And unfortunately, there wasn't much information out there. So whatever the doctor says, that's what we took on. So we tried to go register him for services. They were saying, okay, go get register. So at that time, there wasn't agencies. There were only hospitals which had services. We made sure that he was on all the wait list. But as and when appointments came on, we did go for them. And also, we were new to the country. We had to also look into our financials. And when they said autism, I was looking, and it is such an expensive therapy for autism. And we needed to be careful to have jobs if we wanted to help Kevin. But we went on and we managed to get through that hurdle. And that's when we met you. And I think it just opened a big door for us to speak to other families who were in the similar situation, which I had not done before.
So, how old is Kevin right now?
He's 28 years old.
He's 28 years old. So, what are the challenges? I know it's a many, many challenges, and this might help a lot of our viewers because with the challenges, like from the 3 years when you got the diagnosis until now, you must have faced a lot of challenges. I know you talked about the financial stuff, you talked about the other things, or therapy or treatment wasn't there. But what are the other challenges, like a day to day thing? How does your day look like?
Yes, so especially like when it came to awareness, it was so limited. So, especially with my family, my friends, it was so hard to explain to them what Kevin had. And also I was really down. I was kind of really upset because I saw all my friends, my family, they all had kids the same age as Kevin, but they were all typical except Kevin. And I'm like, okay, God must be really punishing me for something I did. But I suppose that's the real, anybody thinks about it. So it was really hard to get supports and information at that time. So I think it wasn't easy. Even we had to make sure that we were financially okay and also be able to help Kevin to get whatever services we could. So it was a real struggle between us. I think Ronnie is an amazing person, and I don't think I could have done without him. It was like really hard. So we just tried to struggle our way through, but I think the struggles made me very strong. And if I'm here laughing, smiling, that is because I have gone through a struggle.
So all these challenges you have faced, and it's very hard. And I understand, like those people, those are coming from another country, right, migrating into this country, they have a lot of like language barriers. And being a newcomer, like, and then income wise, it's a low income and all those things, right? So how did you find that when you moved in here and then when you had the child on the autism spectrum, like, how did you find that?
Actually, language not was not a big deal, big barrier for me. I was always I learned or studied in English, so it was good. But of course, in back home, we use the British way of talking. So when I came here, it was a culture shock because some of the words we were saying, people couldn't understand. So we had to actually learn how to talk here, and even writing. It was totally different from what we have learned. So that was like a challenge for us, but we overcame it because the language wasn't a barrier. But financially, yes, it was really hard because we had to work our way to get through. And I think a lot of the families have this problem because they are new, but they don't have the language as well, and also they don't have the financial resources.
So when, like, because, like, already you're going through so much of challenges at home, right? Because I can imagine every day when you wake up till you go to bed, there are so many things happening. But why did you pick to come to SAAC? Because you're going to be working with the same families, right? And the children you're seeing. And is it fulfilling for you, or do you go back to your challenges, you think about it and really want to help them out? So I just want to get that feel for it.
Sure. So when I was let go from my financial, that was my happiest day of my life because I wasn't enjoying it that much. So when I was home, I'm like thinking, okay, because Kevin and Joel both were in school, so I had a lot of time on my hand. So that's when I thought, okay, maybe I should do some volunteering at SAC, and that's when I approached you, asked you whether I could come in and help you out, and you were very nice enough to tell me, okay, come and help me with the counting and stuff. So I actually started volunteering like that. And then that's when I was seeing these families who come and the way they speak and the way they are asking questions. It was very intriguing for me. And then when you offered the job for me to do intake and case management, I was like, yes, this is my way of giving back what I have learned to all these families who are struggling. And I really, it was such a reward for me whenever I help a family, and the way they reciprocate how they feel, that's fulfilling. And I realized I actually have joined my calling.
Mm-hmm. And so I know, like, like you're talking to many families, those who are just diagnosed, or just those who have children who have just graduated. So you know the whole journey of it, and you're talking to them. But do you get emotional when you're talking to them, or when you hear their stories and you share your stories with them? How do you feel about it? Like, like.
It is emotionally draining, but I don't show anything in front of them. But in my mind, I go through my experiences when they talk about their stories. But I found that when they find that I have a child on the spectrum and I'm talking, they become comfortable. They start opening up. Lots of things they might have not told other people or even their family members, they were started to tell me. So, but because of my experience, I am able to tell them, okay, you can do this, you can go from here, we can help you. Funding wise, I can be of help to you. I can guide you through. So those are the words I think families wanted to hear, and they were very comfortable. They even call me all the time, and that doesn't matter. I love helping families.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about what I'm seeing is when the newcomers are coming in, a lot of people are having language barriers. Of course, you didn't have that thing, that was not your limitation, but then many, many families, and not even understanding what autism is. Sometimes, they bring the diagnosis and give it to us and say, okay, like autism, is it okay tomorrow? Will it be fine? So when people come to you, when you're doing the intakes and the case management, like how do you explain that to them?
So you are right there, Geeta, because when they come, they don't know what this diagnosis is. So the doctor says, okay, your child has autism, go to SAAC. So they are really clueless when they come to us. So then I will have to explain. And they think that autism is like catching a cold or having fever. Like, you give medication and it goes away. And I had to explain to them it's not that. And also I had to be mindful that how I say it to them. I say, you have to start giving them enough therapy at the early age. You will see lots of improvement and your child is going to be in regular classes, but you need to make sure that you give them the help they need. So that's how I start the conversation with him. And then I talk about all the programs we have at SAAC. And of course, most of them have financial issues. So then I would tell, okay, we can help you to apply for funding. We know where to apply. So they are very happy that there is an organization and people who are willing to help. And I think that is key to SAAC right now.
And in this stage of life, like what you're going through is like Kevin is 28 years old, and like you and your husband are, like everyone is getting older, and how do you see that? Like, what do you think that it's going to happen? Like, not just only for Kevin and your family, but other families, those who are reaching that age, right? Aging parents are coming now. And what do you, in your mind, what are you thinking, like what you can do for Kevin, or like what other families can do for their children?
Okay. As you know, there is not many help for adults on the spectrum. So we try our best. So I know what resources are out there. Like a lot of families want group homes, which is lacking in Ontario. I think we need more of that. But unfortunately, we are, as an organization, we are not in a position to provide that services for families. But in my mind, I think, do whatever you can with your family, with your loved ones, but things will happen. Worrying about it is not going to get you anywhere. That's my thinking, because me worrying, okay, what's going to happen even I'm not there with Kevin, is not going to help me. So I try to talk to people like that. And for example, we had a family who came and it was a mom and a daughter. And I hope you remember, Geeta. So we actually, the mom was following, bringing the daughter for our art programs. And then COVID happened. And then I hear that the mom had cancer. And then right after a few, I think a couple of years, and she passed away. And then the daughter had only a younger brother, we heard. We tried to help them. Those type of things are very hard, and I see how it worked out. I managed to get the family on a GoFundMe page. We provided financial help, for immediate financial help for the daughter. I connected with the brother, helped him through funding. And I see that, this girl is having, a blessed life right now. And I think we made it happen. And I think we do like that, lots of things.
And what's that? Because Kevin has a sibling.
Yes.
So how is his take on this? Like from when he was younger and now he's an adult, right? How is he taking it? And then what are his thoughts? Has he been worried about when the parents are not around? Does he think it's going to be on him? Because I see a lot of parents think that the sibling can take care of the individual on the spectrum.
It is definitely a worry for him, because he will always tell me, Mom, you and Dad are doing this together. When it is my turn, it's going to be me alone. So I do understand why he's worried about it. But I am trying my best to make sure that he's not a burden to Joel, get the help he needs.
Take your time. So you don't want that to be a burden on Joel, right? You want him to get the help from others, wherever he can get the help from, right? And yeah, but it is, I know, like you're talking about it, it is a concern because he needs to get married, or like, he needs to be, he needs to have a family. So how is that going to affect, right, Kevin?
My thoughts are get proper support for him. Um,
It's okay. Take your time. Take your time. And it's okay to be like this, Lakshmi. You know that, right? I know you come out to be a very, very strong person when you're at the center, when you're working with other families. You're a very professional person, right? And when you start talking about your experience, I think you get emotional.
I do.
And if you're not comfortable talking about this, like, like we can move to another topic.
It's okay. Like, my thoughts are to get the support Kevin needs, maybe like a PSW, have the PSW come in, help him day to day. Joel can be a support for him, like be there for him. But I'm thinking I would make all the arrangements for him, like to get to wherever he goes. So at the moment he comes to SAAAC for a day program, and also he's learning to have a job at Goodness Gift. And I think that's a great positive approach. And I'm hoping he will do more work, which will keep him occupied. So, but our role as dad and mom for Kevin, what we can do is to get him the support he needs, like maybe day and night, have a support for him, and just Joel to overlook the financials and maybe be there for him.
Right. So you like, okay, let's see, you're a little bit financially well off than some other families, maybe, but those who don't have enough, like, like funding, or like, like both the parents are not working. And how do you think that they can arrange for a PSW to come home and, like do all the other stuff, right?
Okay, so there are government funding is actually for people who have no facilities but have a lot of needs. It depends on how you portray yourself and what the story you tell these people, so that you can get more funding for the families. It's just that, in our culture, we try to shy away from difficult topics. We don't want to say we have this problem. We don't like to say that outside. That's one of the things which doesn't work with when you want something out there like a financial help. I believe that out there, if you really tell your story, if you really tell them that it is so hard, and the government funding, it does come through to people. It depends on how you tell the story. And I think that's where we come, like we can advocate to families, saying that make sure we did that with one of the families right now, where the dad came and said, oh, I like my son to come every day to Living and Learning, but unfortunately I don't have the money to send him because the money we get is not enough. I said, okay, why don't you do an appeal letter? So I explained to him what he should have on those letters, tell him what challenges he has at home, and he did an appeal letter. And within 2 weeks, he got more money. so that he can send. So like that, I think we are in a position to advise families to go and get it and not to be shy about not having anything.
Now, kudos to you, like, because you are like, getting the families to, I think you're empowering them and educating them. So that's really good. Thank you so much for doing that. So you started with at SAAAC intake and case management, and what is your journey now? Like, I know, like, you have been wearing so many different hats. So I just want to hear about, or the viewers to know about, when you started with the intake and where you are now.
Yes, so when I started with intake, it was just helping everyone, like helping the families of what I know and stuff like that. But now that I have changed my roles to get into funding, I know we have to get the funding. So it's actually a motivation for me to be able to, write little grants, maybe do fundraising events, because I know where the money is going and it is going for a good cause. And I want all the families to realize that how lucky they are to have SAAAC and, support us in any way they can. Even a little, like, anyway, volunteering, any kind of support is great. So this position where I am right now, I'm able to do that. I'm still helping families. They still call me. They still want advice from me. So I'm still open to doing all that as well. So I don't think there's a limit to me helping SAC.
Mm-hmm. No, that's really great, because we saw your talents, we saw your skills, and then you're such a good fundraiser, and I know you were running the walkathon this time along with other colleagues. What's in the future that you want to do about this fund development or fundraising and all those things?
Actually, I want to grow the donor relations. That's my main goal. I think we need to get more people aware what we are doing at SAC and bring in the funds they want to donate to us. I have tried many avenues, but I think there is much more we can do, and I want more people to join, and we want to grow it so that it's a steady revenue for SAC.
So at SAC, so leave the financial side out, finance, like a job you had before. At SAC, which part of it you really enjoy?
Well, helping the families. I think that really fulfills me, and I think I'm good at it. I could see results when I talk to families and the way they feel and the way they talk back to me and say thank you. Those things are really rewarding to me and fulfilling.
So let's see, if you go back to your 18-year-old self. So one piece of advice, what would that be?
Don't be selfish. Be open-minded. Anything could happen in this world. So be strong enough to face what you, come across.
Mm-hmm. So if you won $10 million tomorrow, what would you do with that? And why?
I would donate to SAC.
Why
is like I see that we don't have many group homes or facilities for adults. I would give that money so that we can have our own respite or a group home or even our own building, because now we are renting, and that would be something really I would want to do.
So, I think, what would you like to tell, it's not only for the families, but those who are viewing this, right? What's that you want to tell them about, those who haven't come out or reached out to, not just to SAC, but any other agencies, right? They can go anywhere, or they haven't done the diagnosis yet, or, they don't know what to do after they are 21 years old. What kind of advice would you like to give?
I would say that don't be shy, don't feel scared. We are in a country where it's everyone knows everything. Like there is so much help out here. So if you need the help, support, there are agencies like us. There could be other agencies who are similar to us. Wherever you are living, go ahead, like just find out what are the supports out there, but don't feel shy to go ask the question.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi, for sharing your experience and your story. I know it's very difficult sometimes, but thank you so much for doing that. And we'll see you another episode, I guess.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk about my story.